Good afternoon, Joey on the Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube channel. Trump promises new tariffs on Canada. Told you so. Here's a reaction video from me, Joey on the Caribbean Weather Dude. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Please come back again. All right, let's go. There it is.
This is bad news. My God. Anything it asks.
I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. It's the bad news show. That's right. Well, and I wasn't really going to make a point of this because this visit between us was just a friendly visit between friends and to talk about fire season and this and that. But sure, on Friday, my member of legislature here, Assembly, Sheldon Clare, stopped by the house. I was sitting here, I don't know what I was doing at the moment, and I heard a vehicle outside, and I yelled out, "Hey, you guys looking for Josh?" "No, we're looking for Joey." And, "Hey, it's Sheldon, right on." And Sheldon, he was one of the few people that called Barkerville when the old CEO, who's now been deposed, called them and said, "What's with Joey being banned for life? What's this really about?" And asked questions and push buttons. And then, therefore, because Kate was the way she was, he was on her enemies list forevermore after that. So, that's a guy who stood up for me. So the point of this is he didn't come here for a photo op or for any other reason, just to talk about wells and get my opinion on some stuff. And, it's important because you probably see me as this crazy guy. I'm a pro-democracy guy. I'm an environmentalist. And you would think that someone who's conservative party like him and I couldn't be friends, or let alone stop by my house and have a visit. And like, wow, what's that? Well, what that is important. It's important that people who are different talk. It's like Josh and I, we own this building together, and you couldn't find two people who are more different, and that's what makes us succeed. Right? Like, hey, I'm good at running chainsaws, and I got a truck, and, I don't mind going on a roof to shovel snow, and, I got that kind of stuff. But he's like good with, he's an engineer. He's good at being an electrician. If I need that kind of stuff here, or, plumbing and computer problems. It's like, between the two of us and his like attention to detail and my let's go, between the two of us, we make a pretty good team, actually, even though we're very, very different in a lot of respects. And I think this is important for democracy, is that people talk, people share ideas, people share opinions, not be afraid to sit there and talk and share opinions, right? And not be just dismissed because, we're different. It's like, well, actually, yeah, there's some things we disagree on and some things I say that, he wouldn't agree with. But at the end of the day, when we're sitting here at my table and I'm saying, hey, I don't know if you just heard this, but Trudeau's been overheard now, recorded, talking to business leaders and labor leaders and things like that, telling them that Trump is absolutely serious. He's going to take over Canada. That's what he wants to do. That's his goal. That's the Project 2025 plan. And Sheldon immediately says, Canada's not for sale, and I'll spare you the discussion because that's really between us. And, if we had time and whatnot, maybe we'd hit record and have a bit of an interview, but that's not what we were doing that day. We were just shooting the shit, talking fire season, talking about things around here and catching up on how Victoria's been for him and, having a friendly conversation with someone who I like. This is how we make the world better. We share ideas, and we try our best to come together with as many of the ideas as we can to make things work as best as we can for everybody. Like, that's supposed to be what's going on. That's supposed to be what democracy is. That's supposed to be the plan. And that's still what I want. And I have different visions for how we need to get there, maybe, or whatever. But, you juxtapose that to this comment I got today. It's like, if I have to hear one more Umi Pinko comment from you, I'm unsubscribing. And to which I say, well, then fine, just do that. Because if you're going to come here and just dismiss me, without really saying, well, here's a guy who's well-read and pays attention to what's going on and has some grounded opinions that are different than me. So some of my favorite subscribers here are people who comment and they have different opinions, and they're not like, oh, well, you're a lunatic. And I was like, well, I don't agree, but this is why. And it's like, eventually we rub off on each other, and that's kind of like what the beauty of multiculturalism is. It's like this cross-pollination. This what's happened throughout history is cultures were either forced together through conquest and force or through contact or whatever. And they shared, this is our technology, this is our ideas, this is how we do things. And over time, like as a species, we collectively got better and better and better at everything we were trying to do on Earth, right? And so that's still how I see things. It's like I don't have to agree with somebody to like them necessarily, right? Nonetheless, one of the most important moments of our time, maybe as Canadians and maybe for planet Earth, ecologically speaking, militarily speaking, the way the globe is economically set up now, with the mega rich getting more and more and more, while the people at the bottom here are getting less and less and less. We're at this like moment in history where everything's kind of coming together, and what are we going to do about it? What are we going to say? Are we just going to keep going? I don't like people who are not like me. We're doomed if that's the way it's going to be. So, there's no political brownie points from the conservative camp having him talk to someone like me, and there's no brownie points from progressive circles for me to be seen. No, I liked having my friend stop by, and it was a really good conversation. And the most pressing comment or question of our time, where do we stand? How far are we willing to go as Canadians to defend this country we have that we has problems, has things we need to work out, has a lot of disagreements and a lot of misunderstandings between province to province to province, from people to people, from culture to culture, from region to region, But, at the end of the day, like, it's still a better place to live. We have a 5-year longer life expectancy. We have a U.S. is like 125th in the world for literacy. That's like, wow, that's bad. We're doing a lot better than that. There's a lot of good things here. And there's a lot of problems that we still need to address and make better. Anyways, so there's new tariffs. Yeah, let's talk about them. My friend Valerie posted earlier today, Trump just doubled down on making Canada the 51st state and said, this is a true intention, that I'm going to put myself right on top of his head, just because that makes me feel good. Okay, Fox Propaganda is working overtime for fearless leader, says Canada made major concessions already after just a few days. Brittany Mahomes, yes, of course, known for understanding of politics and policy. It is a serious threat to claim to take over one of your closest allied nations. Watching you, Trump supporters now. How are you going to justify this one? Here we say, somebody come save us, please. And no one's going to save us. We have to save us. We have to get together and mend a lot of fences and get on the same page here. And that page has to be no to these guys, no to this guy. 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, including from Canada. Ottawa has previously vowed to retaliate. So Trump announces Monday they'll impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, as well as other import duties later this week. Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff, he told Sunday people while he was flying around on his fucking airplane there. Aluminum, too, will be subject to the trade penalties. He also reaffirmed he would announce reciprocal tariffs, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, meaning the U.S. would impose import duties on products in cases where another country has levied duties on U.S. goods. So if they're charging us 130%, we're charging them nothing. It's not going to stay that way. All right, well, we know already this is all pressure tactics. Just try to start dividing us and breaking us. Trump imposed steel and aluminum tariffs back in March 2018 and used national security as a justification there. But Canada responded with counter tariffs, and nearly a year later, the White House announced a deal had been reached to prevent surges in the steel and aluminum supplies, ending the trade dispute. The first weeks of his second term, which began January 20th, Trump threatened to impose 25% tariffs. So these people need to wake up. These reporters need to start being honest. What's going on here? Canada plans to do this spending to creation of a fentanyl czar and all these things we said we'd do. You give a little and they try to take more. You give a little and they try to take more. Ottawa started taking Trump seriously. Americans can't believe it's real. In normal times, G7 and NATO leaders accusing a U.S. presidency of craving annexation would be headline detonating multi-megaton blast of news, leaving shockwaves for months. But these aren't normal times. The consensus in Washington is that he can't be serious, right? Right? Oh, no, he can't be. Oh, this is just another joke and a long series of jokes that turned out to be horror shows. Oh, boy. It's reflected in the scant coverage of the eye-popping remarks made by Trudeau, who was overheard telling business leaders that, yes, Trump really would like to take over Canada. The U.S. president made a cryptic comment in his Monday afternoon phone call with Trudeau about having read a 1908 treaty setting the Canada-U.S. boundary and finding it interesting. He did not elaborate. The story was at the bottom of the homepage of the New York Times, awash in stories about allegedly unlawful actions of the new administration. So we're like, back page news, as, he's threatening to take over Gaza and Greenland and Mexico and Panama and Colombia. No, maybe not Colombia yet. No, maybe Colombia. We'll see next week. It was halfway down the homepage on the Wall Street Journal between economic news. It wasn't on the Washington Post main page at all. They don't even want to talk about it. They don't want Americans to know. At the latter, a Democrat mocked Trump for threatening tariffs on a neighbor that has vital aluminum, copper, cobalt, graphite, lithium, and more. The stable genius has decided to start a trade war with Canada, said Rhode Island Representative Seth Magaziner. There was no mention of Canada being made a 51st state and changing the political map of North America. Republican Senator Ted Cruz waved off Trump's plan in his podcast this week, calling it an epic troll. He's just yanking Trudeau's chain. Yeah, it's a big joke, isn't it? Just a big joke. Taking over a country next to you. Just a big joke. A reason to discount this talk might be the poor politics of it. Canadian statehood is slightly to massively unpopular, according to U.S. public opinion polls. Not only that, if there is democracy, if we were allowed to vote, if Canada was given the rights of a state, there'd never be a Republican victory again. It would be the end of the Republican Party. So, but I guess if you're planning to sabotage everyone's right to vote forever, you don't think, or maybe they'll just treat us like Puerto Rico or something, like an afterthought. The bits of evidence, however, that Trump is dead serious about territorial expansion are starting to accumulate into a hard-to-ignore mountain. And it's on CBC. He mentioned it in his inaugural address. He keeps talking about it in the context of Canada, Panama, Greenland, Gaza. His Middle East envoy is a property developer, and Trump's talking about building properties in Gaza and just moving the residents, just make 1.7 million people move elsewhere. Relocation of mass numbers of people like that. You know who did that kind of stuff? He's not currently satisfied as being a two-term president. He has imperial ambitions. 2 biographies of the man, including one written by his niece, include the words "never enough" in the title. Associated Press does have it. This article, 25% steel and aluminum tariffs on Monday. Here he is. Yay, yay. He'll announce Monday 25% tariffs on all steel from Canada, Mexico. Any steel is going to have a tariff, blah, blah, blah. More lies. So Trump's comments are the latest example of his willingness to threaten and in some cases impose import tariffs. Tariffs are coming much earlier in his presidency than during his last 4 years when he prioritized tax cuts and deregulation. Trump has alternatively said he sees import taxes as tools to force concessions on issues like immigration, but also as a source of revenue to help close the government's budget deficit. Financial markets fell on Friday after Trump said he would impose the reciprocal tariffs. Stock prices also dropped after a measure of consumer sentiment declined on Friday, largely because respondents cited tariffs as a growing worry. Americans are expecting inflation to tick up in the coming months because of the duties. Trump on Sunday did not offer any details about steel and aluminum tariffs. And when you're talking about Buy Canadian, you also have to punish the people that have donated to the Trump camp and to Project 2025 specifically. The AutoZone, Ace Hardware. This is a long list. Arby's, Armor All, not Ashley Furniture. Damn, I need a new couch. Molson Beer, Coors Beer, they donated. Buffalo Bills, fuck them. Buffalo Wild Wings, so the Bills and the Wings. Buick Cadillacs, Carl's Jr., no, not Carl's Jr. Chevrolet, Cinnabon, Cincinnati Financial, Conair, Dairy Queen, damn, not Dairy Queen, Dole Foods, Exxon, Dudley Sports. Look at all these big companies, these billion-dollar companies who gave money to Trump and to Heritage Foundation. Home Goods, Hendrick, who else here? Who else? Anything important? Oh, no, Marza, yeah, so McDonald's, of course, Miller Beer, of course, Milwaukee's Best Beer, Molson, and you're just drinking beer, and now that beer money is helping fund the Trump rise to power. And New Orleans, New York Yankees. I've always hated them. Old Dutch foods. Are you kidding me? Shitty. Yeah. So a lot of companies here worth checking out. Black & Decker Hardware. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the popcorn factory. There's a popcorn factory. Smuckers. Oh, I like that jam. Baskin & Robbins, Procter & Gamble. Have they included Coors? Walmart, Exxon Mobil? Says here, this Coors family beer, the Walton family, Walmart, and Exxon Mobil have contributed to the Heritage Foundation. You know what to do. True. All these organizations have contributed money to the Heritage Foundation by their private organizations. As of 2024, the Adolph Coors Foundation is the only one of the three organizations still publicly disclosing support for this conservative group. Wow. So they had to do some research here. Project 2025 generated news headlines in 2024. And among the rumors was that Coors, Walmart, and Exxon Mobil committed money to this foundation, to the Heritage Foundation. So the post mention of Project 2025, known as the Presidential Transition Project, refers to a conservative coalition's policy plan for a future Republican U.S. presidential administration, the one that's now happening in 2025. That's this year. It announced Project 2025 in April 2022. Snopes previously reported people across the political spectrum expressed fears that the initiative's proposed actions are precursors to authoritarianism. Further, the plan proposes recommendations to reverse protections for LGBTQ plus people. That's happening. Limit abortion access. That's happening. And stop federal efforts to mitigate climate change. That's absolutely happening. It also said that Adolph Coors Family Foundation, Walmart's Walton Family Foundation, and Exxon Mobil. The rumor promoted in the online post claimed that Molson Coors Beverage Company's family, a reference to the Adolph Coors Foundation, just pound that beer and help fund the Trump administration. Walmart's Walton Family Foundation and Exxon Mobil, they contributed to the Heritage Foundation. The text in the post that mentions 2025 here. So the rumor's true. All these organizations in the past contributed money, usually via their private foundations. FoundationSource.com defines a private foundation as an independent legal entity set up for solely charitable purposes. With funds typically sourced from a single individual, a family, or a corporation, it receives tax deduction for donations. In our research in this matter, we concluded Adolph Coors Foundation is the only organization of the three appearing to presently and publicly still disclose support of the Heritage Foundation. Further, in order to fully document and verify the full scope of this subject, we reviewed evidence on all three organizations making past contributions to the other groups presently named as the Advisory Board Partners of 2025 Project 2025. The Project 2025 website defined its Advisory Board Partners as follows: a broad coalition of over 100 conservative organizations that have come together to form the project pillars. In our prior reporting, we reported the Advisory Board Partners are a collection of groups under the Heritage Foundation's oversight that have co-signed the effort, given feedback on its proposals, and promoted the initiative to government officials. The Project 2025 website added the following disclaimer: the opinions of Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation do not necessarily represent the opinions of every one of its Advisory Board Partners. That's a nice cop-out. Here's a bunch of money, and I'm just going to wash my hands of it if it becomes popular, publicly repulsive. So Adolph Coors is proud to be a longtime funder of the Heritage Foundation. Its mission to formulate and promote public policies based on the principles of free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, and traditional American values with a strong national defense. Joseph Coors, one of the foundation's founders, was instrumental in the creation of the Heritage Foundation. In 2023, Heritage celebrated its 50th anniversary fighting for America's future. Oh, boy. The Walton Family Foundation describes itself as a philanthropic vision by Walmart founders Sam and Helen Walton. The website's grants page featured a search box allowing users to easily locate past contributions. The website displayed contribution to the Heritage Foundation from 1992 through 2018, totaling $650,000. Are they still doing it? Maybe. ExxonMobil. They have a website that has a page titled Philanthropy and Social Contributions. Philanthropy and Social Contributions. Exxon works closely with the communities where we operate to identify and invest in initiatives to help support their needs. Anyways, They gave $730,000 to the Heritage Foundation. United for Respect, an analysis of Walmart and Walton activity in the current political circle. So remember this as you're parking there at Walmart every day and buy Canadian, buy Canadian. I'm looking for Canadian product. But meanwhile, you're giving money to these guys. They spent $32 million on politics this last cycle. Overall, the political spending favors Republicans over Democrats by 5-1. Walmart and Walton spending, over $22 million flowed into nominally nonpartisan issue PACs that fund conservative, sometimes extremely conservative causes. They donated $800,000 this election cycle to current and former Republican governors responsible for enacting draconian anti-abortion laws. Walmart and the Waltons donated at least $895,000 to election deniers this cycle. And there you have the donor, the amount, $32 million. There you go, out of the Walmart Foundation. 75% of all spending is directed at federal politics, with millions more spent at the state level. So here's their political divide, right? Republicans in red, Democrats in blue. And we see overall how much money are the Walton Family Foundation spending on Donald Trump. 2/3 of all issue PAC money went to a single right-wing organization, Americans for Prosperity, founded by the billionaire Koch brothers. It's been linked to a privatized political party and is widely credited with the rise of the Tea Party movement. Jim Walton donated $10 million this cycle, and Alice, she gave $5. $3.5 million went into a tough-on-crime measure through a committee called Californians for Safer Communities. Proposition 36 threatens to roll back criminal justice reforms, revive the disastrous war on drugs. In a move that one academic expert called surprising and perhaps unprecedented, Californians for Safer Communities then donated $1 million to the California Republican Party. The company put $100,000 into a committee called Californians for Fair Play and Employer Accountability, an effort to weaken key legal tool for enforcing workers' rights after Walmart money helped the measure qualify for the ballot. State politicians negotiated business-friendly reforms to the Private Attorneys General's Act. Big Sky Action Fund is a super PAC that raised over $1 million, nearly all of it from Rob Walton. The super PAC then turned around and donated nearly all of it to Conservative Values for Utah, a different super PAC operating in support of U.S. Representative John Curtis. Various business and industry trade groups received about $129,000. Walmart donated to PACs associated with the retail industry. The remaining money, a little less than $300,000, went to a hodgepodge of causes supported by Walmart: voting, mental health, veterans, Christy Walton, reproductive health, and Lucas Walton, environmental. While the Waltons themselves are giving at the federal level, the company seems to be giving at the state level. Here's the recipient type: PAC, party committee, politician, between the Waltons and the company. Just to give you an idea, by party, the Waltons give to Republicans almost entirely. The company gives about 60% to Republicans. So is your elections being bought? Are your politics coming from the people, or are they coming from these corporate bosses, these investors, these big business owners, these Wall Street players? And they gave to election deniers, the Waltons did. They gave to election deniers. So here's when you're going in Walmart and you're spending money and you're making these guys richer and richer, and then they turn around and give that money to these guys, these Republicans, and you say, well, that's, buy Canadian, buy Canadian, buy Canadian, but here, let's fund Republicanism. So I don't have much more time to go in this, but 6 billionaire fortunes bankrolling Project 2025. This is just another article on desmog. More than 100 nonprofits led by the Heritage Foundation engaged in climate change denial and obstruction for decades have signed on as advisors to the Project 2025's 900-page Mandate for Leadership document, a plan to rapidly reform or radically alter U.S. government by shuttering bureaus and businesses. All this stuff that's going to lead towards them now attacking us as Canadians, right? This is what's going on down there, and we have to see it in its current context, that even when you're saying buy Canadian, buy Canadian, buy Canadian, the problem with that is we may be supporting Canadian organizations or billionaires themselves. So it's like we're not really getting to the heart of the matter, to the inequality that is the problem now. Coors family, $2.7 million to Project 2025 groups. Charles Koch, $9.6 million to Project 2025 groups since 2020. There he is, one of the richest people in America. Richard and Elizabeth Uhlheim, $13 million to Project 2025 group. They're co-founders of Uline, a company that sells shipping and packing supplies through its ubiquitous brand of cardboard boxes and other bulk business goods. The Scaife family gave $21.5 million to Project 2025 Group since 2020. Wow, these billionaires are just giving it. And Bar Said, $22.4 million to Project 2025 Groups since the year 2020. The Bradley family gave $52 million. The Bradley Foundation's 2025 linked donations include more than $7.7 million to Turning Point USA, a powerful ally of the Trump presidential campaign, which promotes conservative causes on university campuses and is funded in part by the fossil fuel industry. The single largest donation was $27 million in 2022 to Project 2025 advisor Turning Point Legal, founded by former Trump advisor and past president of a coal lobby group, Stephen Miller. Do we have to defend ourselves from corporate oligarchy? And it starts with understanding who is running the show there and trying to run the show here very much as well. Okay, well, that's all I've got to say on the matter for now. We'll try to keep you updated. I'll come back with some weather next time. Sorry for the purely political video, but I told you so. I've been telling you they're serious. It's going to happen. They're going to keep pushing. They'll keep trying to divide us, turn me against you, turn everyone against everyone until we're an easy target. And we can't let that happen. So, all right. Have a good work week, and we'll get back to you when we can here again on the channel. Hit like, share, and subscribe if I didn't say that already. And support the channel. Support independent media. A lot of independent media people are finding themselves with dwindling bases suddenly, and the algorithm's not favoring us, and part of that is intentional. I'm absolutely sure of that, because still so many of you tell me that you don't see my videos anymore in your feed, and it's telling. Okay, that's the show for today. Bye now.